There's a kind of silence that follows heartbreak, not the peaceful kind, but the heavy one, the one that sits in your chest like a weight you can't move. You wake up, and for a split second, you forget. And then it hits you again. The emptiness, the absence, the what could have been. No one prepares you for that kind of quiet. No one tells you how love can feel like home one day and like a ghost the next. When someone you love leaves, it's not just the person you lose. It's the version of yourself that existed with them. The laughter you shared, the plans you made, the small, ordinary moments that now feel sacred. You start to wonder, will I ever feel whole again? You scroll through old photos, replay old messages, and for a moment, you almost text them. But then you remember, you can't go back. You can't rebuild something that was meant to fall apart. Heartbreak doesn't destroy you all at once. It breaks you slowly, in invisible ways. When you see something that reminds you of them. When a song plays and your chest tightens. When you see two people holding hands and you feel the ache of what's gone. But somewhere in that pain, something sacred begins to happen. You start to rebuild, quietly, without realizing it. You start learning that peace isn't found by forgetting them. It's found by forgiving the story. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? You begin to see that heartbreak doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to transform you. It strips away what you don't need. It reminds you that your heart is still alive, still capable of loving, still capable of healing. And one day, not all at once, but slowly, you wake up, and it hurts a little less. The sun feels warm again. Music sounds beautiful again. You realize that what broke you also built you. Because peace doesn't arrive as a gift from someone else. Peace is something you build brick by brick from your own pain. Peace isn't loud. It doesn't arrive with applause or fireworks. It comes softly, in small ways, in the moment you choose to eat, even when you have no appetite. In the moment you open the curtains and let the light in, even when it still hurts to see the day begin. That's how healing starts. Not by erasing the past, but by making peace with it. By realizing that what happened had to happen, not to punish you, but to wake you up. You see, love isn't just about finding someone who fits your heart. It's about discovering who you become when your heart breaks. The person who rises from the pain, stronger, softer, and wiser. That's who you were meant to meet all along. There comes a point when you stop waiting for closure from someone else. You stop replaying the what-ifs, the maybes, the if-onlys. Because the truth is, closure isn't something they give you. It's something you create when you decide your peace matters more than your past. You start to understand that forgiveness doesn't mean they were right. It means you're tired of carrying the weight. You forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. And in that moment, when you release them, when you stop fighting the story, you realize you were never really losing them. You were finding yourself. You begin to rebuild your life piece by piece. The music you once stopped listening to, the friends you drifted away from, the dreams you placed on hold. You start breathing again, not just to survive, but to live. And somewhere down the line, you'll look back, and you'll see that the version of you who once cried every night, the one who thought they'd never make it through, has become someone peaceful, grounded, whole. Because pain was never meant to stay. It was meant to shape you. to teach you what love really means and what peace truly feels like. You might not notice it right away, but healing starts in the smallest, most ordinary moments. When you wash the dishes and realize you're humming again. When you walk past the place that once made your chest tighten, and it just feels like another street. That's forgiveness too. Quiet, invisible, but powerful. Maybe it starts when you stop checking if they've seen your message, or when you no longer rewrite what you wish you'd said, or when you sit alone at a cafe and for the first time in months, your coffee doesn't taste like sadness anymore. Forgiveness isn't a single moment. It's 1,000 tiny choices. You forgive when you stop comparing your life to theirs. You forgive when you choose to smile again, even if no one's watching. You forgive when you start sleeping peacefully, because your mind is finally tired of carrying the same old story. You might still remember everything. The words, the silence, the betrayal. They stay. But forgiveness changes how you carry them. They become pages in your book, not weights on your shoulders. It's like walking through your old hometown years later. You remember every street, every corner, every face. But the pain that once lived there, it's just a shadow now. Sometimes life gives you people who break you open, not to destroy you, but to make space for who you were meant to become. Maybe you loved someone who couldn't love you back. Maybe a friend disappeared when you needed them most. Or maybe you can't forgive yourself for trusting too much, for staying too long, for not seeing the signs. But listen, you were just doing your best with what you knew at the time. And that's enough. That's always been enough. We are all learning how to let go, how to keep our hearts open even when they've been bruised, how to love without losing ourselves, how to walk away without bitterness, because forgiveness isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning. It's what makes space for new things to grow. New peace, new friendships, new love, new light. You see, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending it never happened or letting people walk over you again. It means you finally stop letting the past control you. There's a kind of power in that moment. The quiet kind. The kind that doesn't shout or seek revenge. It just says, I'm done carrying this. And that's when the healing really begins, because when you refuse to forgive, you keep the story alive inside you. You replay the scenes, you refeel the anger, you build walls that no one else can see. But they keep the light out too. One day, maybe years later, you'll realize that you've been standing in the same emotional place for too long. You'll look at yourself and think, I'm tired of feeling this way. That's the moment your soul is ready to let go. And when you do, something beautiful happens. You start to notice the world again. The taste of morning coffee, the warmth of sunlight through your window, the laughter of strangers. Little things that once felt far away suddenly feel alive again. That's forgiveness working silently. It doesn't announce itself. It just gives your heart back piece by piece. And one day, you'll meet someone who reminds you of the person who hurt you. But instead of anger, you'll feel peace. Not because they were right, but because you've grown. Because the person you are now no longer belongs to that pain. Forgiveness turns pain into wisdom. It teaches you who deserves space in your life and who doesn't. It reminds you that boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. They protect your peace while keeping your heart open. Some nights, you'll still think about it. The moment things changed, the person you lost, the words left unsaid. But now, it won't break you. It will just pass through you, like wind through open hands. There comes a moment, after all the crying, after the sleepless nights, after the endless questions, when your heart finally stops asking why. It's the moment you stop waiting for an apology that will never come. You stop replaying the last conversation. You stop searching their name on your phone. It doesn't happen all at once. It's quiet, subtle, like when you wake up one morning and realize the ache isn't as sharp anymore. That's peace beginning to grow, fragile, but real. You'll start walking outside again, feeling the world instead of just surviving it. You'll find yourself smiling at the sky for no reason, because for the first time in a long time, you feel light. Not because everything is perfect, but because you finally stopped caring what was breaking you. Forgiveness, in that moment, becomes freedom. It's the invisible line between the person who was hurting and the person who's finally healing. It's the bridge that carries you from heartbreak to peace. Sometimes, peace looks like silence, like choosing not to text back, like unfollowing someone you still care about, not because you hate them, but because you love yourself enough to let them go. And that's the secret no one tells you. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about you. It's about giving yourself permission to breathe again, to stop bleeding for someone who never learned how to hold your heart. As you heal, you'll notice small, beautiful changes. Your mornings feel softer. Your laugh sounds fuller. Your heart, the one that once felt shattered, now beats with quiet strength. And you'll think, maybe this is what peace feels like. One day you'll meet someone new. Or maybe you won't. But you'll realize that love didn't leave your life. It just came back to live inside you. Because peace after heartbreak isn't about replacing what you lost. It's about rediscovering what was always yours. The calm, the courage, the light that never really went out. And then something shifts. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's quiet. Like a sunrise after a long night. You realize you're no longer waiting for them to come back. You're no longer trying to rewrite what's already been written. You're finally living again. In your own rhythm, in your own light. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget the hurt. It means the pain no longer controls the narrative of your life. It means you can look back without breaking and look forward without fear. That's what peace after heartbreak truly is. The stillness that arrives when your soul finally exhales. It's when you stop fighting the past and start trusting that everything happened to teach you, not to destroy you. You begin to see that every heartbreak was a teacher. Every ending was a beginning wearing a disguise. Every person who left gave you space to find yourself again. And in that quiet space, where the noise of grief fades, you meet the most beautiful person of all, the one who survived, the version of you that didn't give up, that learned to love again, not because someone came to save you, but because you saved yourself. So tonight, if your heart still aches, if you still find yourself staring at the ceiling wondering why it had to end, breathe. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply healing. Peace is coming, slowly, gently, like light through a window you forgot was open. And when it arrives, you'll understand something profound. Forgiveness wasn't the end of your story. it was the beginning of your freedom. If this story found you tonight, maybe it's because you needed to hear that peace is possible, even after the breaking. If you felt something in these words, share this moment with someone who's still healing. Because sometimes, a quiet reminder can save someone's day. And if you'd like to walk with us through more stories that speak softly about life, love, and learning to be at peace, subscribe to English Flow until next time. Take care of your heart, forgive gently, and let peace find its way back to you.